Hey everybody, it's Aiden, and I know last time I did my video, I told you that my next video was going to be about my STP. So this video is about my STP. I'm going to talk about what I like about my STP, what I don't like about my STP, why I chose the company that I chose, and what to look out for whenever you are, buying your first STP. So if you are under the age of 18 and do not want to see a penis, click off now. Do it. I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so I went with the 5.5-inch Rogue from Freetown Prosthetics, and I got the light skinned, and I got the upgraded paint on mine. So this is what my prosthetic looks like. It actually looks pretty realistic. Like I said, I got the painted version, so I have the veins on the inside of mine. So they changed a few things whenever I looked at reviews. For instance, the inside of here was hollow, the walls, so that you could flip up whenever you had an overflow. That's not there anymore. They also upgraded the urethra, so now it opens up whenever you pinch the head of the penis. So they did upgrade a few things to the prosthetics, and I just kind of wanted to touch on some things that I really, really like. So I do like that my prosthetic is very realistic. I was pretty happy with that part. I don't think I could have picked a better prosthetic for my first prosthetic. So another thing that I do like is I can pee pretty well with it now. When I first got it, the first 3 to 4 times, it was kind of hard to pee with it. It wasn't that it was hard; it was just different to try to pee with it. I was also scared that I was going to overflow, and I have not had an overflow. So surprisingly, I got a smaller one, and I thought that I would have that issue, but I haven't had that issue at all. So I like that. I also like that when I pack with it, it's not huge. It's not too bulky, and it doesn't look like I have a half boner or anything like that. However, it is heavy. You will need to wear a harness with it. I just ordered myself a slingshot harness so that there's no buckles or strings. It just pulls up through, and the harness goes through here and then underneath here as well, so it kind of cups it to you. So hopefully, I'm hoping that comes in. It's supposed to be in a couple days, so I'm pretty excited about that. So whenever you get your Freetown prosthetic, you will get a rod. So the rod looks like this, and it is for your partner. So this is to make your penis erect. It goes inside of the urethra, like this. It is a little hard to get in. Just give me a second. Okay. So this is erected. It's not that hard. I'll be completely honest with you. It's really, really not. I don't know how anyone is going to penetrate anybody with this. It does move so that you can angle your penis however you want. However, it does move pretty easy. So actually getting it to stay in that position is going to be pretty hard. Another thing is that it does crank. I don't know if you heard the noise, but it does make a noise whenever this thing moves. And another thing that is with this, it is silicone. So the inside does get a little sticky, and I don't want to say sticky because it's disgusting, but it gets a little sticky because of the material that it's made out of. I usually soak mine about an hour right after I shower, and then I let it air dry overnight. But it does stick. So, however, it's never done that when I was walking. It's never done that when I was packing. I think maybe it happened once. That's it. So it's not too bad. Some things that I don't like about my prosthetic. That's kind of hard. The play part does not work for me, or the pleasure part. It doesn't work for me. Like I said, the play part, the silicone is so thick on this thing, I don't know how it's supposed to penetrate anything. That's about the only thing I don't like about my STP. So I did get the 4-in-1. I kind of skipped out on that, which is the P pack, play, and pleasure. P part is so that you can obviously pee. Sorry, standing up. The packing part is so that it looks like you have a bulge, so it just folds up like this, and it's so that you can, so it looks like you have a bulge. However, it's not too thick, or it's not. I mean, it is pretty thick, but it's not big enough to where it looks like you're packing this huge monster C thing in your pants. It's honestly it's pretty. I like it a lot, and it doesn't make me look like I have a boner, but it's thick enough that if somebody goes and grabs your junk, you have something there, and it doesn't feel so fake. It actually honestly feels pretty real. I usually give myself a cornstarch hand job in the morning, because if you don't, it is silicone, so you will get hair and lint on your prosthetic. But if you give yourself a little bit of a cornstarch hand job, just rub a little bit on there. You can either use a brush, or you can just put a little bit in your hand and just rub it all over. It gives it more of a texture feel, so it actually does feel a little more real. And it doesn't make it so white that it looks fake either. And I did wash this. I don't want you to think that I just kind of brought it out right out of my pants. I did actually just wash it. So, with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about when you're buying your first STP, what to look for. So, I looked on all of my YouTube, like every prosthetic that I looked into Freetom, I looked into EC Essentials, I looked into Peacock. There was a lot of different places that I looked into. I thought about Peacock because Peacock is another huge brand that a lot of FTMs usually go to for buying your first STP. Reason why I didn't go with them is because for me, that what was important was the look. I wanted it to look real. I wanted to be able to pack with it and play with it, or pack and pee with it. Sorry, I didn't really necessarily care about the pleasure and the play part. I'm good without it. I don't have dysphoria when it comes to that part necessarily. However, I do go to the gym, and when I'm wearing gym shorts, you can honestly tell when a guy is wearing gym shorts because you can see something down there. If you don't, then you know it's not, especially when you're benching. Benching does make it difficult for me, and that's why I had dysphoria myself. But the look of it was most important to me. The look, because if I'm using a urinal, sometimes whenever you go into a bar, drunk people just walk right in. They don't give a fuck. I've had a girl try to grab my junk one time, and so I kind of was like, what the fuck are you doing? Because at the time, I didn't have a prosthetic, and she was like, well, she came out to me. I was in the bar. It's a funny story. I'm in the bar, I'm ordering my drink, and I was with the girl at the time. She was back at the table. Well, I go up to the bar to get us both a drink. All of a sudden, this girl comes up and she tries to grab my junk. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? She was like, I like to know what I'm working with before I try to take you home. And I literally looked at her with dead straight face and was like, well, you wouldn't be working with much, so I turn around and walk away. And I just grabbed my beers and I left. But shit like that, when stuff happens like that, you don't really know how to react to it, especially whenever you're not packing or you don't have your STP. It kind of makes you feel uncomfortable, and either way, nobody should be trying to touch your junk. That's number one. I mean, unless it's your partner, like no one should be trying to touch, whatever's in your pants. However, shit like that does happen. I know when me and the guys are hanging around or whatever, they'll try to like T-bone you. Well, when they're trying to, hit shit down in the private parts, you ain't got nothing there. There's not much to fake about that. So, anyhow, me going to the gym was like one of my dysphorias because of me not having a prosthetic, and pee standing up. Because a lot of the people that I go to the gym with, they don't know that I'm even transitioning. So, for me, that was my dysphoria. So whenever you're buying your first prosthetic, you need to figure out what's important to you, whether it be look, play part, pleasure part, whether it be the function of it. Are you gonna be able to pee standing up? Is it better to pack with? You need to figure out what is important to you, and then build your prosthetic off of that. So you kind of narrow it down and you look at reviews. I looked at a ton of reviews all over YouTube. I looked at um, all different kinds of brands, and obviously price too, because they're not cheap. I mean, I paid like $300 to $400 for my prosthetic, like $400 with the upgrade and everything. So $400, I mean, you better get the best deal that you can. So the reason I chose the 4-in-1 is because I want to try to get the best deal out of what I can. I'm just like that. However, like I said, the play and the play and the pleasure part doesn't really. But I'm glad that I still got the look of it and the function of it to work for me. Like I said, it is heavy. So if you're gonna go with Free Tom and you are gonna go with their 4-in-1s, definitely buy a harness. I see a lot of FTMs get Rogue, or not Rogue, it's Rodeo. I'm sorry, Rodeo. It's a huge brand. If you actually get on their website, they have a ton more to choose from rather than actually just going to Free Tom's harnesses. Go on to Rodeo's website because you'll find a ton more there. However, like I said, I got a slingshot harness, so mine's a little different. I didn't want to try to. The underwear itself I think, is just a little weird, and I don't really necessarily know how it's supposed to just stay in there. Because if you look at it, you'll have your underwear, your briefs, whatever kind you choose from, and then there's a hole like this, and up against it is cloth. So I'm not exactly sure how all of that's supposed to work. I just went with a slingshot harness because I knew that it would be able to stay up. And the problem that I was having is even when I would wear tight briefs, it's so heavy that it still hangs down a little bit. Now, it doesn't hang down like horribly, but it does pull in your underwear a little bit and does kind of make it uncomfortable. So I did get a slingshot harness. I'm trying to think of some other stuff that I'm missing. I'm going to buy a different rod, a pleasure rod. I'm going to get mine off of Peacock. They have a bunch of different ones to choose from, and it's just because they make ones that the rod goes through and then it has the pleasure part on the outside of the rod. So maybe that'll help, maybe that'll work better than what that does. We'll see. The rods, I think, are like $30 each, but you can get like different ones. And I'm hoping that it'll work for it. I don't even know if it's going to work, but if it does, it does. If it doesn't, whatever. But yeah, so if you have any questions or concerns or anything that you want to ask that's a personal question, feel free to call me or, yeah, call me. You don't have my number. To message me or send me an email. Look me up on Instagram, Facebook. I'm all over. And I'll answer your questions. I'm open to talk to anybody who has dysphoria or is concerned with buying their first prosthetic or has any questions on what to actually look for. I can go into more depth with all of that as well with you one-on-one if you want. With all that being said, like and subscribe and let me know your feedback, comment. Talk to you guys later.